Have you ever pondered how aging transforms not just our bodies, but our very perspective on life? As we enter our later years, we face harsh truths that challenge the comforting narratives we held in youth. In today's video, we're diving deep into 7 essential tips for navigating the complexities of old age. These aren't just sweet platitudes. They are hard-hitting realities that can help you reclaim your dignity, respect, and inner peace. Why should you stick around until the end? Because each of these insights has the power to reshape how you view your relationships, your happiness, and even your self-worth. You'll learn how to protect yourself from those who may take advantage of your vulnerability. Discover the importance of prioritizing your own needs over others' expectations, and understand how to break free from toxic dynamics. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Tip number 1. Do not blindly trust everyone who approaches you. This may sound like common advice, but as we grow older, it takes on a much deeper significance. With age, loneliness can start to feel like an ever-present companion. We long for meaningful connections, for people who bring light and companionship into our lives. Yet, ironically, this very need for connection can make us vulnerable. The unfortunate reality is that not everyone who enters our lives comes with pure intentions. As we age, we may also become softer in some ways, more empathetic and eager to believe the best in others. Some people recognize this. They understand exactly how to manipulate that kindness, sensing when we're most fragile and knowing how to twist our emotions for their benefit. Perhaps you've noticed this pattern yourself. Someone you thought was a friend only seems to be around during your struggles, during moments when you feel isolated or vulnerable. They're there with open arms and words of comfort. But if you think back, you might realize they disappear whenever things are going well for you. It's almost as if they thrive on your need for them, on being a part of your life when you're feeling low and searching for support. The sad truth is that sometimes these people are not looking to give, they are looking to take. This might come in different forms: financial support, favors, or simply the satisfaction of knowing they have some form of control or influence over you. Have you ever noticed how certain people appear in your life at convenient moments when they stand to benefit from your vulnerability? Perhaps a family member who frequently asks for money when they sense you're feeling generous, or a friend who subtly pressures you into helping them when they know you're too kind to say no. But this isn't a call to live in a state of suspicion or distrust, shutting yourself off from potential connections. Rather, it's a reminder to cultivate discernment and mindfulness. We can learn to be more selective about who we allow close. This requires us to listen carefully to our instincts and to notice patterns in people's behavior. It's about being able to say no when something doesn't feel right, to put boundaries in place, and to protect the things that are truly ours: our peace, our stability, and our self-respect. Guarding your heart and protecting your mental and emotional well-being becomes essential as we age, not just to avoid hurt, but to ensure the time we have left is spent in a state of contentment. We owe it to ourselves to be surrounded by people who value us sincerely, who lift us rather than drain our energy or take advantage of our kindness. Imagine looking back on your final years, feeling a sense of calm rather than regret. Wouldn't you rather have fewer but truer friends? People who stand by you because they genuinely care? The key to this lies in learning to trust, but to do so wisely. Develop the ability to question without losing faith in humanity altogether. It's perfectly okay to take your time, to observe how people act over the long term, and see if their actions match their words. True friends, true connections will understand and appreciate your boundaries. Those who don't likely never had your best interests at heart to begin with. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. So, as you navigate the years ahead, remember that while we all want companionship, it's the quality of those connections that matters most. Trust, yes, but trust with care. Question motives, notice patterns, and protect your peace fiercely. When you do this, you'll be creating a life filled with relationships that enrich you rather than drain you. And that's a gift, not only to yourself, but also to the true friends and family who love you for exactly who you are. Tip number 2, stop living to please others, especially your family. I understand just how difficult it is to accept this truth. It feels uncomfortable, even harsh, to say out loud. But the reality is that so many of us spend our lives bending to the wishes and expectations of others. Our children, our grandchildren, our spouses. We devote ourselves tirelessly to ensuring their happiness, sometimes believing that this endless sacrifice is the purest form of love. But here's the hard truth. When we constantly prioritize others at the expense of ourselves, that sacrifice becomes less a sign of love and more like a prison. Think about it. When you reach this stage in life, shouldn't it be your time to rest, to finally nurture your own needs and dreams? Instead, that pressure to meet others' expectations only grows heavier. This weight, this unrelenting demand to always be available, to constantly put your dreams on the back burner, it doesn't fade away with time. It intensifies, tightening around you like invisible chains. And these expectations, they're often unspoken, assumed, yet deeply felt. But who gave anyone the right to expect that you'll always be there to sacrifice your happiness? Is that fair to you? Have you ever stopped to truly ask yourself, after all I've done, why do I still feel this lingering emptiness? Why does this ache for fulfillment remain? Because here's the reality. No matter how much you give, there will always be more that others want from you. And as you continue to pour out your time, finances, energy, and even your health to make sure they're happy, have you ever asked yourself, who is looking out for me? Have you ever permitted yourself to wonder what it would be like if, just once, you put your happiness first? The truth is that some family members can begin to rely on the elderly as a constant source of emotional, practical, or financial support, often without realizing just how much they are asking of you. They take, sometimes without even a second thought, expecting you to be there to sacrifice for them, and not even considering the impact it might have on your well-being. They assume that your time, your energy, and your resources are theirs to lean on. But what do you gain from it? Often, not much more than a simple thank you. Or worse, an expectation that you'll keep giving without question. And what happens when you need support? Who's there to carry you? It's often in these moments that you see just how much you've given and how little you've received in return. This stage of life should be about reclaiming yourself, about nurturing your passions, doing the things you've always dreamed of but set aside because there were others to care for and responsibilities to manage. Instead of giving endlessly, you should feel free to embrace the things that bring you joy and fulfillment. And there is no shame in that. There is no reason for guilt. Breaking free from these deeply ingrained expectations is not selfish. It's self-preservation. It's reclaiming your right to happiness and peace. If the people in your life truly love and respect you, they will understand. They will encourage you to put yourself first, to embrace this hard-earned freedom. And if they don't understand, then that is something they need to work through on their own. You have done more than enough. You have given more than your share. It is not selfish. It is simply just to seek happiness now. You deserve, now more than ever, to live without the weight of others' expectations, without guilt, without fear. So here's my heartfelt plea. Stop living solely for others. Embrace this chapter as your own. You have spent years, perhaps even a lifetime, giving of yourself, nurturing others, and putting your dreams on hold. Now, it's finally time for you to receive, to live, unburdened by expectations, unchained by obligation, to live in joy, peace, and freedom. You have earned it. This is your time to reclaim the life you deserve. Tip number 3. Don't be afraid to distance yourself from toxic people, even if they are family. For many of us, family represents an unbreakable bond, a sense of belonging, a part of our identity. However, as we journey through life, we inevitably encounter difficult relationships, even among those closest to us. This can lead to an immense inner struggle between maintaining these connections for the sake of family loyalty and honoring our own mental and emotional health. It's a dilemma that can feel impossible to resolve because the weight of guilt, obligation, and societal expectations is so heavy. When we're young, we might tolerate mistreatment more easily because we believe there's time to change things, time to heal old wounds. But as we grow older, it becomes painfully clear that time is finite. How often have you endured hurtful words, manipulative games, or blatant disrespect simply because you felt it was your duty to stay connected? Society loves to tell us that family is everything, that we should forgive overlook, and endure anything to keep that family bond intact. Sometimes, even our inner voices echo this idea, whispering that unconditional love means accepting every flaw, every offense, every harm. But here's the brutal truth. Family bonds should not come at the expense of your well-being. There's nothing unconditional about enduring behavior that damages your spirit. Imagine a scenario that might sound familiar. A child who constantly criticizes or dismisses you. A grandchild who only reaches out when they need money or support. A spouse who, after years together, no longer treats you with the kindness or respect that once defined your relationship. These situations can be devastatingly painful, especially when they come from those who are supposed to be our safe haven. And yet, sometimes the most compassionate act of love we can show ourselves is learning to let go of these toxic connections, despite how deeply they are rooted in our lives. As difficult as it is, this choice becomes especially crucial as we age. The reality is that our mental and emotional health are sacred, and no relationship, no matter how deeply entrenched in our history, should ever undermine that. Aging isn't a period where you should become a silent martyr, swallowing insults or tolerating mistreatment in the name of keeping the peace. It's quite the opposite. Growing older should be a time to focus on serenity, to cultivate relationships that genuinely bring you happiness, comfort, and companionship, not those that fill you with stress, sadness, or resentment. Imagine the impact on your life if you were to draw clear boundaries that put your well-being first. How freeing would it be to no longer feel the weight of judgment or negativity hanging over you? Picture a life where you're surrounded by people who uplift you, who respect you, and who bring genuine joy into your days. By setting these boundaries, perhaps the most important boundaries you'll ever set, you create space for the relationships that truly matter, for the people who genuinely care about you. At this stage in life, every single day is precious. You deserve to spend your time with people who see your worth and value you for the person you are, not for what they can get from you. It's time to shake off the myth that family means endless sacrifice, endless tolerance, and endless swallowing of hurtful words and behaviors. Family can be a beautiful, supportive presence in our lives, but only if it's built on mutual respect, love, and kindness. When those elements are missing, it's okay. No, it's essential to consider stepping back to protect the peace you've worked so hard to cultivate. Setting boundaries or even choosing distance is not an act of betrayal or selfishness. It's an act of self-preservation, an act of recognizing that your mental and emotional health is sacred. You have a right to a life filled with people who cherish you, not those who make you feel small, unappreciated, or used. Remember, your happiness and well-being are your responsibility, and that's a beautiful truth. No one, not even family, has the right to trap you in a cycle of guilt, manipulation, or toxicity. You are worthy of love, respect, and happiness. And sometimes the strongest love you can show yourself is choosing to walk away from relationships that no longer serve you. So take a deep breath, trust in your right to peace, and know that by setting these boundaries, you're creating space for the joy, serenity, and genuine connections you truly deserve. It's never too late to choose a life where you are valued, respected, and at peace, because that, above all, is the life you are meant to live. Tip number 4. Stop waiting for others to recognize your sacrifices. Take a moment to reflect on all the times you put others before yourself, whether it was your children, your partner, your parents, or even your friends. Maybe you gave up dreams, set aside personal goals, or let go of things that once mattered deeply to you, all because you thought, someday they'll realize what I've done for them. It's a beautiful idea that one day they'd look at you with gratitude, see the sacrifices you've made, and thank you wholeheartedly. But here's the painful reality. Life doesn't always work that way. That moment of recognition, that long-awaited thank you, may never come. Consider all the moments you found yourself silently hoping someone would acknowledge everything you've given. The nights spent reflecting on the endless acts of kindness you've shown, the personal dreams you set aside, the time and energy you poured into supporting someone else's happiness. And yet, how many times has that gratitude simply not come? The emptiness that follows can cut deeply, leaving you questioning your choices, your relationships, and even your worth. This yearning for acknowledgement can become a heavy burden, a weight that quietly grows, especially as the years pass. The truth is, When we expect recognition from others, we hand over a piece of our happiness, letting it rest in the hands of others. It's a dangerous place to be, waiting on something that might never arrive. When gratitude doesn't come, what often takes its place is disappointment. And slowly, that disappointment turns into something darker, resentment. You might find yourself replaying old memories, revisiting past sacrifices. Only now, with a bitter feeling that those efforts went unnoticed and unappreciated. This resentment can start to color your relationships, adding tension where once there was love. The saddest part? It can even make you question your nature, your kindness, your selflessness, making you wonder, was it even worth it? But here's a powerful truth to hold on to. The value of your sacrifices isn't determined by whether or not others appreciate them. Those acts of love, the times you went out of your way to make life easier or better for someone else, are a testament to your character, not theirs. They show your capacity for compassion, your resilience, and the beauty of your giving heart. The way forward lies in letting go of that need for external validation. To truly find peace and happiness, you must learn to honor your sacrifices simply because you know their worth, not because someone else acknowledges them. In the end, your life should be defined by your standards, not by how others perceive or appreciate you. And as you grow older, time becomes even more precious. There's so much beauty in living a life free from the chains of others' approval. Imagine the freedom in knowing that your joy, your contentment, and your peace don't rely on anyone else's acknowledgement. By choosing to let go, you give yourself permission to live more fully, unburdened by the expectations or disappointment of others. Accepting that you may never receive that recognition doesn't mean your efforts were meaningless. It's the opposite. It means that you loved and gave from a place of pure selflessness without needing a reward. This acceptance is a powerful act of love toward yourself. It allows you to hold your head high, knowing that your sacrifices were real, your efforts were genuine, and your kindness was unwavering, regardless of how others may have responded. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Now is the time to live for yourself. Be proud of everything you've done, of the sacrifices you've made, not because someone else told you to be, but because you recognize their worth on your terms. Remind yourself daily that your value doesn't hinge on anyone's recognition, but is rooted in the courage and generosity within you. This quiet strength has always been your most powerful ally, and it has always been enough. By choosing to let go, you reclaim your life, setting yourself free to enjoy every moment with a full heart and an unburdened mind. Tip number 5, stop using your age as an excuse not to change. This may be a difficult truth to accept. Perhaps it even stirs up a touch of discomfort or resistance. Yet, it's precisely this discomfort that points to its importance. How many times have we dismissed a new adventure, a learning opportunity, or a chance to grow with a thought, "I'm too old for that"? Whether it's picking up a new hobby, breaking an unhealthy habit, shifting our mindset, or even daring to love and be loved in a new way, age often becomes a wall we hide behind, a justification for staying the same. But the truth is, as long as we are alive, there is still time to change. This is a liberating realization, a door that opens to the vast possibilities that life still has to offer. It's a common notion, almost a societal script, that after a certain age, growth and transformation are out of reach, that our character and lives are fully formed and set in stone. But let me tell you, this idea is nothing more than a powerful myth, a myth that keeps us chained to a life that's comfortable but unfulfilled. When we allow ourselves to believe this, we fall into a trap of complacency, choosing to believe that life after a certain age is meant for winding down, not leveling up. This misconception robs us of the chance to renew our lives with purpose and meaning. Instead of seeing our later years as a period of stagnation, what if we viewed them as the most potent season for change? We have something now that we didn't have in our younger years: wisdom, a deep understanding of who we are, and a wealth of experiences to guide us. Imagine for a moment the opportunities that may have slipped through your fingers simply because you held on to the notion of too late. The dreams you pushed aside, convincing yourself they were meant for someone younger, with more energy. The love you could have welcomed into your life, the places you could have traveled, the skills you might have honed, all missed. Not because they were impossible, but because you let yourself believe they weren't meant for you anymore. It's a heartbreaking realization, but one that can also be incredibly motivating. It reminds us that it's not age that closes the door on these experiences. It's the mindset we hold about what's possible for us. What most people fail to recognize is that age can be an incredible advantage. With every year comes a new layer of insight, a richer perspective on life, and an understanding that can only come with time. We have lived through challenges, successes, heartbreaks, and triumphs. We've learned about resilience, patience, empathy, and the importance of time itself. These qualities equip us to navigate change more skillfully than ever before. So if you have dreams or desires for growth, it doesn't matter if you're 50, 60, 70, or beyond. The only thing truly holding you back is a belief that it's too late. And while this belief may feel deeply ingrained, it's a chain that we each have the power to break. Tip number 6. Don't cling to the past as if it were your only refuge. As we journey through life, nostalgia often becomes a familiar companion. The memories of our younger years, of laughter shared, love felt, and dreams pursued, can sometimes feel more vivid than the present moment itself. It's so easy to get swept away by the warmth of those memories, to retreat into them, especially as we age. They give us comfort, a reminder of who we were and what we experienced. And yes, reminiscing in moderation can be healing. It's a part of cherishing life. But there's a delicate balance, a line we must be careful not to cross. For when you begin to live more in the past than in the present, you risk becoming a prisoner of those very memories. Beautiful as they may be, they should not define your current life. How many times have you caught yourself saying, "Back in my day, things were so much better. If only I could go back to when I was happier." This kind of thinking is alluring, even comforting at first, but it has a darker side. It can seduce you into believing that your best days are behind you. That longing for the past can trap you, making it difficult to fully appreciate and engage with the present. The sad truth is, when you hold on too tightly to the past, you close yourself off to the endless possibilities that still lie ahead. The present may not be flawless. It may not have the same magic you felt before, but it is the most real, tangible moment you have. It's here now, waiting for you to live it. Every time you get lost in what was, instead of what is, you risk letting precious time slip through your fingers. If you found value in this video, please leave your comment below. And remember, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to continuing this journey toward a more balanced, fulfilling life together.